So Mayor Jackie Clayton has been a resident of Grande Prairie since 1999 and was first elected to City Council in 2013. During her second term as councillor, she was appointed as interim mayor in January of 2021. She was elected as mayor at the 2021 election and now holds the distinction of being the first elected female mayor in the city of Grande Prairie. She is an engaged past president of the Grande Prairie District Chamber of Commerce and has been a proud Rotarian since 2001. She's an entrepreneur whose professional career has included many roles in the marketing and public relations sector. In 2003, she opened a retail franchise business, which she still owns today. After numerous years in her various retail businesses, she followed her passion to be more involved in corporate business, most notably as the VP Public Relations and Partnerships for Pomeroy Lodging, where she oversaw external and government relations for 19 hotels within the various markets they operate. She is business-minded and future-focused and believes that together we can build strong communities. She is always ready to contribute, not afraid of hard work, and truly committed to every initiative she is part of. She believes you can only expect a community to give much as you are willing to give it. Mayor Clayton and her husband Rob have lived in Grande Prairie since 1999 and have always been deeply involved with and worked in the Grande Prairie business community. She's a mother of two sons, aged 13 and 16. The Clayton family is incredibly passionate about their community, sports, fundraising, and education. Please welcome Mayor Jackie Clayton. As Reeve of the County of Grande Prairie, Leanne Beaupre has played a role in creating vibrant communities across the county and region for many years. First elected to County Council in 2004, she was drawn to the tremendous opportunity to guide economic development and community growth and played a crucial role in setting the county's direction through a period of record-breaking expansion. Since being elected Reeve in 2012, she has continued to guide strategic and sustainable development in the county while advocating other levels of government to meet the needs of the county and Northern Alberta. With roots firmly in economic development, she serves on many boards and committees, including Chair of Community Futures, Grande Prairie and Region, the Northern Alberta Transportation Advisory Bureau, Northern Alberta Elected Leaders, as well as provincial advocacy committees. She was born in Northern Alberta and raised in the County of Grande Prairie, only moving from the area to complete post-secondary education. Before becoming an elected official, she co-owned an oil and gas business and was a real estate broker. She and her husband of 36 years enjoy golfing, time outdoors, and spending time with their 3 incredible children and 2 grandchildren. Please welcome Reeve Leanne Beaupre. Reeve Tyler Olsen's background includes hands-on experience in the industrial and commercial trucking industry. A longtime resident of Grande Cache, he has also spent 17 years as a volunteer firefighter and is currently serving as the captain for the Grande Cache Station Number 33 of the Greenview Fire Rescue Services Department, in addition to the elected duties of a Greenview councillor. Reeve Olsen is starting a second term as an elected councillor, having joined Greenview Council in January of 2019 after the dissolution of the former town of Grande Cache. Please welcome Reeve Tyler Olsen. Our moderator is originally from South Africa and brings his unique knowledge of industrial psychology and labor relations to the Grande Prairie District Chamber of Commerce. He is a skilled communicator, relationship builder, and mediator, finding beneficial solutions for complex issues. As executive board chair, he respects the strong bonds formed between the City of Grande Prairie, County of Grande Prairie, and the Municipal District of Greenview, and aims to support that positive connection and cooperation. A business owner himself, he recognizes the vital role the Chamber plays in advocating for its community, providing exceptional value and bringing business-related concerns to the provincial and federal level for constructive review. Looking ahead, he is focused on measuring the impact of the new regional hospital, preparing for initiatives like the Greenview Industrial Gateway Project, as well as developing and implementing policies that will address issues connected to the business community and creating an atmosphere conducive to business and community growth. Together, he and his business partner have built Fusion into an innovative, all-in-one IT solutions company that provides computer and network solutions, telecommunications, and cloud storage systems, as well as crucial cybersecurity consultations and training for small businesses. He has made Canada his home for nearly 30 years and appreciates Grande Prairie's caring nature and resilient entrepreneurial spirit. Please welcome Tertius Genis.
Thank you, Tanya, for the panel introductions, and thank you for everyone that's been here today. I think it's an awesome day when we have problems finding parking again. So I welcome everyone here in person, and for those folks that are online joining us, great to have all of you here. One of our Chamber's strategic objectives is to continue to work with stakeholders to advocate for innovative and strategic initiatives at the municipal, provincial, and federal levels. We very much value our relationship with our local municipalities, and dare I say, we are somewhat of the envy of our other chambers across the province for this partnerships. And this partnership we value, and we live by this partnership with our municipalities. The city, the county, and the MD of Greenview collaborate with us on a number of initiatives, focus on growing our economy and helping businesses. You'll hear more about some of those activities here shortly. We will be sharing on the topics of the economy, infrastructure, advocacy, intermunicipal collaboration, and community. Without further ado, let's start, and I'll start with Mayor Clayton. Can you please let us in on some of the city's economic activities, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Tertius, and thank you to the Chamber for hosting this event. It's great to be here in person with those in the room, and appreciate those who are online watching as well. As well, to be on stage with my regional partners, it's a great day when we're all here telling you the great success stories and opportunities that are ahead in our region. I do just quickly want to welcome MP Chris Workington, as well as former Minister and MLA Wayne Drysdale and former MLA Everett McDonald. Thank you to the three of you for being here today. So with April almost being over, if you can believe it, 2022 is well underway. We're focused on continued economic recovery from the pandemic with businesses and employment supports. The local economy continues to grow at a steady rate, and on a number of fronts we've seen some great numbers. At the end of March, 373 homes had sold within the city and an overall average price of $321,000. This represents about a 6% increase in the average sale price since the same time last year. And even since December, we've seen, that average house price go up about $20,000. Also in the first quarter this year, the city issued 151 building permits valued at over $27 million, consistent with the permits that were pulled during the same period last year. The recorded unemployment rate for the region of Grande Prairie was about 5.3% for March, which is down significantly from 10% in March of 2021, and it's one of the lowest percentages across the province. We are really proud to launch Invest Grande Prairie late last year, and it's a reimagination of Grande Prairie's Economic Development Department, building on previous investment attraction and businesses retention as well as expansion activities. The goal of Invest Grande Prairie is to highlight key sectors of investment opportunities and to draw the attention to current and future investors with the potential enhancing Grande Prairie's region. The major part of their efforts include the Economic Recovery Incentive Program, which includes the Development Incentive Grants, a program which provides financial support and business recovery and development within our community. If you haven't checked it out yet, please check out investgp.ca to connect with our team. We're very encouraged to finally, no offense to the government, but to finally see the Grande Prairie Regional Hospital open and the newly rebranded Northwestern Polytechnic, which will support economic prosperity in our region and in the province by creating jobs and increased educational opportunities. Lastly, we continue to see the value and the impact of many investment-ready opportunities as we look to businesses in the north, as well as proposed regional capital project and infrastructure investments, including the Hughes Lake Industrial Area and the Greenview Industrial Gateway. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Mayor Clayton. Next, Reeve Beaupre. What economic developments are coming out of the county?
Well, thank you very much, Tertius, and thank you, Mayor Clayton, for making those introductions and recognize our distinguished guests. Thank you everyone for attending and as well for the Chamber for hosting this event. So busy roads reflect a really busy and recovering economy, and permits for rigs and multi-load moves, pipeline crossings, and frack water lines were all up in 2021, and 2022 looks promising so far. We work and continue to work with Nautical Energy and are developing plans for improvements to Resources Road to support this development. We are meeting with other industry partners in May and June, including International Paper, Canfor, Weyerhaeuser, on potential partnerships to help fund these outstanding project costs. I'm going to read this part specifically. I'm not going to try and ad-lib it because I think it's really important for this region. The Grande Prairie Nautical Facility is on track to becoming the world's first large-scale net zero methanol producer, producing 3.4 million metric tons annually. This low-carbon product will be captured from the abundant natural gas production in the Peace region using the best-in-class methods. The project will support 5,000 construction jobs, 1,260 permanent direct and indirect jobs, and provide sustained Indigenous and community economic benefits over its 35-plus-year life. More details will be published in the Nautical Inaugural Sustainability Report following this event. But as many of you may have seen in the paper, they did talk about, in the Globe and Mail, Nautical has committed to starting the project this year with operations to commence in 2026, I believe. So that's a huge boost for the region. We'd like to thank the provincial government for their $1.7 million investment in grant funding to our $8 million project to improve Resources Road. Building permits and applications were stable in 2021 with some new smaller subdivisions and additional phases in some of our larger multi-lot subdivisions kicking off last summer. The value of new construction was also steady, noting a $2 million increase in comparison to 2021. Into comparison to the previous year. The experts predict Alberta's economic recovery powered by oil and gas is on a strong trajectory this year. The County of Grande Prairie and the Northwestern region are key contributors to this economic growth with our diverse economy, which includes oil and gas, getting busier month over month. Just recently, I had an opportunity to hear an economist, Todd Hirsch from ATB, speak, and he talked about everyone saying that oil and gas is the driver of the economy. His comment was, it's the backbone of the economy, and as such, we should be looking after that backbone because it supports all of the other diversified opportunities that we have. And I totally agree with him. The County of Grande Prairie has flourished because of our strong economy. Notably supported by oil and gas, our economy is strengthened due to economic diversification with agriculture and forestry industries playing a significant role. We continually look for opportunities to support these key regional projects and encourage diversity within our borders. Reports on the potential for geothermal energy in the county noted considerable opportunities for various potential projects. These are clean energy hotspots in the hamlet of Claremont, as well as between Beaver Lodge and Wembley. The county is actively pursuing grants and other funding opportunities to pilot project geothermal energy for heat and power generation. This potential utility for the area would be a source of revenue, a potential partnership with private industry, and support diverse economic development. And lastly, a collaborative community-driven regional workforce development strategic action plan, say that once or twice, between the county, the city, the MD of Greenview, Northwest Polytechnic, and Grande Prairie District Chamber of Commerce will map our shared vision and framework to meet the region's employment, training, and development demands over the next 5 years.
Excellent. Thank you, Reeve Beaupre. And next, we're going to move on to our rose for the day, Reeve Olsen. So if you can please give us an update on the economic activity for the MD.
Thank you, Tertius, and thank you for being recognized as the rose between the two thorns. And I just echo the same thank yous and welcomes to everybody here. It's nice to see a big gathering once again. So in the MD of Greenview, local business and retention expansion continues to be a priority for all of our councils in the region. and is one of the key reasons that Greenview has pushed so diligently for the development of the Greenview Industrial Gateway, which we call the GIG. As most of you are aware, Greenview purchased 2,000 acres from the provincial government last year in November to create the GIG. This will expand opportunities to develop high-quality natural gas into refined products while capturing carbon. This will make our region the gold standard for low-carbon emission industrial development worldwide. And we're seeing results to this already. In November, along with our announcement of the land, Northern Petrochemical has signed a purchase agreement to build a $2.5 billion facility that will create 4,000 jobs during construction and 300 to 400 permanent jobs once it's up and running. And just in the last little bit, a memorandum of understanding has also been signed with Sierra-Lawn GTL to purchase another 200 acres from that chunk for a $2.8 billion plant that'll produce low sulfur diesel and military grade jet fuel. This project is expected to create about 2,500 jobs during construction and 200 permanent jobs thereafter. A little further south, Valerie Resources Mine is another important employer that is looking to start in 2023 with about 150 jobs for a metallurgic coal mine right near Grande, completely underground without the strip mining that everyone is against right now. CST Coal will also be hiring another 80 new mining positions, hopefully by November 2022, and recently connected with our Economic Development Department to assist in promoting Grande as a community of choice so we can attract everyone there. The last 2 years have really shown us how important reliable access to high-speed internet has become in our daily lives and how essential it is to support economic growth. We want to ensure Greenview's residents and businesses have access to this service. So this year, Council has budgeted for fiber optic solutions with construction plans to follow. Our goal is to achieve reliable high-speed internet for the majority of our ratepayers to make sure we're competing in the future.
Excellent. Thank you, Reeve. Olsen, just a quick reminder, we will have time for questions later in the program. Our next topic is infrastructure, and I'm going to start this time with Reeve Beaupre. Can you please advise us on some of the projects being worked on in the county?
For sure. Thank you, Tertius. In the spring and fall of last year, I was having many conversations with residents, community members, and industry partners, and more as part of the 2021 election, municipal election as it drew near. I heard, and many of my fellow colleagues and councillors heard, and echoed my feedback, was that roads and road infrastructure was at the very top of the list of their priorities. This feedback is certainly echoed by the results of our citizen satisfaction survey, where 50% of the county residents who were polled rated roads as the top of mind issue. This was followed by taxes, imagine that, and then 5% on crime. This feedback is certainly, as council, we're in tune with the priorities of our residents and have continuously prioritized a strong transportation network. Approximately $53 million is being invested in capital road and bridge projects, including $25 million for capital road and bridge construction projects carried over from prior years, and $28 million for new projects scheduled for 2022. This includes 52 kilometers of road surfacing, bridge rehabilitation, and road reconstructions. A few key projects include $3.8 million to pave a key section of Range Road 85 from Township Road 710 north to Highway 43. That was in my friend and colleague Steve Zimmerman's area, where there's a lot of activity in the oil and gas area. $2 million for spot construction across the county of Grande Prairie, and just about $1 million for road construction projects in the hamlet of Hythe. And we will be replacing the Wapiti Ski Trail pedestrian bridge, and that will connect our three municipalities. The City of Grande Prairie and County of Grande Prairie are partnering to install traffic lights at the intersection of 108th Street and 132nd Avenue, with both contributing half of the project's estimated $400,000 in total cost. This will improve motorists and pedestrian safety for the residents from both municipalities and the students of St. John Paul II Catholic School. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention as well that, and speak about the new Pioneer Richardson terminal. This is a rail loading, or a grain terminal and a rail loading facility in the West County near Beaver Lodge. This is much needed access to grain terminals in our West County, and our farming community could not be happier. And to lessen the burden on our residents, Council approved almost $600,000 to subsidize wastewater rates increases for county residents connected to the Aquaterra system. These rates were directly funded by the dividend that the County of Grande Prairie receives from the users of the Aquaterra system.
Excellent. Thank you, Reeve Beaupre. Next, Reeve Olsen, I think it's obvious there's a lot of exciting developments happening in the MD of Greenview. Can you please speak to that for us?
So the importance of Highway 40 has always been front and center for everyone in this area. Transportation has always been mentioned by Reeve Beaupre, and I just want to echo the comments that this significance in the transportation network of our region. Greenview has been working closely with the province to move this project forward. Council has previously approved the contribution of the $60 million to twin approximately 20 kilometers of the highway, and from Highway 40 up to the intersection of Township Road 700. With the County of Grande Prairie's $10 million funding commitment, Greenview's portion will stay within around the $50 million, so we appreciate the help with that. We've also have several other road improvement projects on the table for the coming year, including paving Rural Route 230 from Highway 42 to Township Road 700 by Valley, and overlaying Township Road 701A by Grovedale. Several water treatment systems in Greenview are also scheduled for upgrades and improvements this year, with the most significant in Grand Cache for the new wastewater treatment plant in Grand Cache, so we'll be able to continue to flush our toilets. It is much appreciated. Planned upgrades to the Bolton Creek crossing water system include a new force main that will allow more than double its current capacity to transfer wastewater to the lagoons, and the installation of Grovedale's water treatment plant should finish up this year.
Excellent, thank you, Reeve Olsen. And next, Mayor Clayton, another busy year for the City of Grande Prairie regarding infrastructure. Can you please provide more detail?
Yeah, thanks, Tertius. 2021 was the city's largest capital construction program in the city's history, with $86 million that were budgeted investments to improve roads, sidewalks, trail systems, storm lines, bridges, traffic signal repairs, the addition of recreational amenities, and more. Road rehabilitation has been an area of focus for many councils, but it was definitely a focus of this capital plan. In the last several years, City Council, the previous council, increased the road rehabilitation and overlay program from $7 million to $11 million annually. In 2021, due to an increase of provincial and federal stimulus grants, we saw $18 million allocated to roadways, which resulted in 23 kilometers of road improvements. In 2021, we saw 42 new pedestrian crossing signal poles at 16 locations, 17 kilometers of sidewalk improvements, and 4 kilometers of trails replaced. Last year, the City of Grande Prairie received $4.9 million funding through the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program from the federal government that supported infrastructure programs in the City of Grande Prairie in 2021, including the following: the construction of 2 new ball diamonds in South Bear Creek, the North Bike Skills Park that was added in the Crystal Lake area, the Activity and Reception Center that just was officially opened last weekend in the Smith subdivision, Hillside, the addition of more paths and trees in Hillside neighborhood, the Musquote Bridge, which connects the regional hospital to the Musquote Park and Playground, and the addition of a mobile skate park, which is currently housed in our Activity and Reception Center, but this summer you'll see it throughout our community in various areas, making recreation accessible to more neighborhoods. In 2022, the budget now focuses on efficient operations for a sustainable future. This budget prioritizes existing infrastructure and focuses on filling infrastructure gaps in our community while maintaining an average tax increase of 0% for residents. It was developed with a focus on the future to ensure the city is well positioned to continue to provide and sustain for the needs of our growing community as development continues. Some infrastructure highlights for the year include $3.5 million for trails and sidewalks, $17 million for road improvements, $6 million of it, which is going to the old Highway 43 bypass, $3.2 million for storm system replacement and rehabilitation, $460,000 for new lighting and ball diamond renewal at South Bear Creek, and this year we'll also see the demolition of the Leisure Centre. We look forward to continuing the dialogue with the community and what we will do with that vacant land following the demolition. We're particularly excited to see the completion of 4 phases of the $44 million downtown rehabilitation and streetscape. This is going to start, the last completion part will start right away in May, and as Reeve Olsen mentioned, the plan is for it to be completed by the end of July. The project brings improved underground infrastructure as well as enhanced streetscape to the downtown core to support higher density development and future growth. We extend a huge thanks to all of our steadfast downtown business owners, the workers, the visitors, for your ongoing patience and understanding during these years. The construction will bring a renewal of life to the downtown core, and we're extremely proud of it. To recognize this hard work and historical significance of the project, we are currently working on a downtown storybook project, which will highlight the significance of this project in Grande Prairie from a variety of perspectives, including council, engineers, consultants, business owners, and many others. We look forward to publishing this book later this year.
Excellent. Thank you, Mayor Clayton, and thank you for those updates. Definitely busy times for everyone regarding infrastructure, but very exciting times, so we look forward to that. The next topic is about advocacy, and that is the heart of our chamber, very near and dear to our chamber. This time I'll start with Reeve Olsen. Can you maybe elaborate on the activities regarding advocacy in your region?
Thank you. Advocating for the growth of our local and regional economy is something Greenview Council has and is continuously focused on. As I mentioned in my earlier comments, the gig is setting up this region as a leader in eco-industrial development, and a key component of this is in the carbon capture adjacent to the industrial gateway. We have been in discussions with our local MLAs, stakeholders, and other ministers of the government of Alberta to complete this process for the approvals and licensing for carbon sequestration, and expect to have an announcement in the 4th quarter of this year with more news on carbon sequestration. Advocating for the well-being of our seniors is a priority for Greenview Council, as none of us are getting any younger. We're all getting a little bit older, and we want to ensure that the supports are in place so that our family members can age in place and remain in the communities where they have always lived. As well as continuing to support funding current senior housing projects, Greenview Council has also approved funding for an expansion of the Fox Creek Iuzagun Manor and has donated land and servicing near to Beaupre for the Grand Spirit Foundation to construct, maintain, and operate new seniors housing for the Beaupre area. Greenview has also contributed $2 million to the Evergreens Foundation for an Elders Lodge project in Victor Lake near Grand Cache. This new lodge will create space to meet the cultural needs of Indigenous residents, provide the care they need to age in place. Increasing access to health care continues to be a priority for our residents, and we have been working to attract and retain healthcare professionals, particularly in Grand Cache. Greenview has been urging Alberta Health Services to increase its recruitment efforts for this community, and our council has approved additional support through a month-to-month lease agreement to cover rental costs for the clinic. A local citizen committee has been formed to increase the recruitment and retention for doctors, and our council is committed to support these community-based efforts. Advocating on behalf of our residents is an important role for our council, and we continue to speak up and ensure that decisions made by other levels of government and government organizations are in the best interest for our region.
Thank you, Reeve Olsen. Next, Mayor Clayton, I know there's a number of advocacy items on your wish list. You might tell us more about that as well, please?
Yeah, absolutely. You'll see being released shortly council strategic initiatives, but advocacy being at the top of the list of priorities for this council. We're very committed to advocating on behalf of our residents and the region to all levels of government for meeting the growing needs of our region. The top priorities for 2022 include addressing the high electricity distribution and transmission rates. In 2021, the average house in ATCO's service area paid $1,300 in distribution and transmission fees, compared to $500 paid in the City of Edmonton and Calgary. This continues to be a priority for the Chamber as well as for this Council. The significant disparity in electrical distribution rates across the province has a detrimental effect on living affordability and economic development within our region. Attraction and retention of healthcare professionals is a significant priority. We're hearing on a regular basis of the needs, and it will grow and expand as the regional hospital is fully utilized. We have a projected need for healthcare professionals that cannot be sourced locally. The city is advocating that AHS allocate greater resources to recruit and retain healthcare professionals to Northwestern Alberta, and to align the Northwestern Polytechnic to advocate for specific healthcare programs that fill the projected needs. Highway 40X, the Southwest Bypass, which I know Reeve Beaupre will elaborate more on, is a planned expansion of the Southwest Bypass of the city, represents a significant missing link between Highway 43 and Highway 40. Currently, most traffic traveling between these two highways has to drive through city limits. This adds to congestion and unsafe circumstances on our city streets. Additionally, overdimensional traffic must travel through the city, involving city crews to rotate traffic lights at the poles at night to allow these large loads through. In 2021, over 7,600 overdimensional vehicles moved through the city, but as many as 12,000 vehicles went through in both 2017 and 2018. We are trending upwards again towards those numbers. This process comes at a significant cost to businesses in terms of time and money. The addition of the bypass would significantly reduce the need for these loads to move right through the city. The building of 40X will alleviate traffic congestion, reduce safety concerns, and allow for a more efficient delivery of goods, reduce transportation costs, and improve the lives of the city residents. In addition, provincial support for industrial attraction priorities is a priority of this council. The city is seeking opportunities to align industrial attraction grants and initiatives with the province and the federal government to increase investment in the region for key sectors. Recent advocacy initiatives include advocating to the federal government and CN for more access to rail cars, lobbying to have CBSA to bring customs to the Grande Prairie Airport. And earlier this year, the city was proud to showcase our organization, our region, and our community to advocate for these items and many others while promoting investment opportunities as we hosted an evening with Grande Prairie event in Edmonton. The event welcomed MLAs from across the province, including the keynote speaker of Minister of Finance, Travis Taves, as well as other cabinet ministers, partners from key industries that are important to the Grande Prairie region and Alberta's economy. We are pleased to show off the innovation and development happening in our region, and we're happy to advocate for attraction of new businesses and growth for our future.
Awesome. Wonderful to hear all about those efforts. Reeve Beaupre, I know you guys also have some advocacy in your sites. Can you please elaborate on that as well?
Well, thank you, Tertius. And as my colleague and friend Mayor Jackie mentioned, many of the advocacy issues that they have on their radar, the County of Grande Prairie also has those on our radar. And just as recently as yesterday, we had an opportunity to speak with the Minister Madu, who is the Minister of Labor and Immigration, and we had a very long discussion around workforce development in this area and advocacy around Highway 40 and the fact that this region is the economic driver for the province and beyond. But as I mentioned before, my council has heard over and over again, and we continue to hear about transportation issues and roads. So our advocacy is primarily, my topics will be primarily on transportation. So at the top of the County Council's advocacy list is transportation infrastructure, particularly safe and effective highways. We've realized a lot of success through relationship building and advocating to the provincial government and the federal government, which I thank our colleagues for, and on projects that are key to our residents. The most notably includes partnering to twin Highway 40 south of the city of Grande Prairie and building a new bridge. And I'd really like to thank my colleagues in the MD of Greenview for the work that they did and the initiative they took to move that project forward. Earlier this year, Council met with the Honourable Rajan Sawhney, the Minister of Transportation, to discuss Highway 40X, which has been on our priority list as long as the Highway 40 project. This connector would join Highways 43 and 40 west of the city of Grande Prairie and as part of the Canamex North-South Trade Corridor through the United States, and would be critical to increase safety, attract investment, and enable economic resilience in our region. And as Mayor Clayton had said, if you take a look at the map and you look at the highway systems that are here, we have a lot of a disconnect. All the highways come into the city of Grande Prairie. So you have to move through a city with all of your heavy loads and transportation, whether it's grain or any type of product that we're trying to move. And there's not another city in Alberta that has that same issue. So we're really lacking in investment in the transportation industry up here. Minister Sawhney confirmed that Alberta Transportation is reviewing the funding options to begin land acquisition and engineering, the detailed engineering for Highway 40X this year, with capital funding for future construction under consideration. And we, the region, are reaching out to our members today, asking them to make sure that they let your representative and the Minister of Transportation know that that's one of your priorities as well. So, thank you. Sorry, not quite done. Speaking of Highway 43, for as long as I can remember, County Council has been advocating for improvements on Highway 43 in the intersection of 733 near Bezanson. The residents of Division 1, which my fellow colleague MLA or past MLA Everett McDonald, it was one of his advocacy issues, and now his daughter Amanda Frayne, as well as Carol Bulford before her, them and many residents in Division 1 and many of the motorists who travel that highway every day deserve a crossing that is safer for all. Late last year, Council supported Alberta Transportation's proposal to install a traffic circle at the interchange, specifically to increase safety. The county continues to advocate to the province to support the fiscal sustainability of municipalities in the future. Our 2022 budget contended with millions of dollars in lost revenue. Between the permanently eliminated well drilling equipment tax holiday on all new wells and pipeline projects until 2025, and the balance of unpaid property taxes, there was about $5.3 million in revenue loss that cannot be invested into municipal services, programs, and infrastructure upgrades. That's a significant amount, and I know my colleagues, both from the city and the county and the MD, also have similar stories to tell about lost revenues. Council committed over $143,000 for the county's contribution to up to 50% of the costs associated working with the P3 Capital Partners, Inc. on the Mount View Health Complex project, along with the town of Beaver Lodge. And I'd like to include a thank you to our MLA and Minister of Finance, Travis Taves, and MLA Tracy Allard for their advocacy efforts on this project and advancing those as one of the region's priorities. Thank you.
Thank you, Reeve Beaupre. In the spirit of this event, we'll move on now to the intermunicipal collaboration. Mayor Clayton, I know the three municipalities have been working more and more closely together. What does that mean for the city?
Well, Tertius, it means a few things, but in regards to intermunicipal collaboration, our council is very proud to have worked with the Council of the County of Grande Prairie to adopt this historic intermunicipal collaboration framework, or ICF, after years of hard work, discussion, and advocacy. And I'd be remiss to not thank Reeve Beaupre and her leadership for us to get to that decision. It was a lot of work, but thank you. The framework identifies a relationship between two municipalities in providing shared services to residents and ratepayers. The ICF includes commitments to work closer on many things, including joint procurement on goods and services, shared training initiatives, and further sharing of mapping data. The ICF also includes a fire mutual aid agreement that will allow for greater cooperation between our fire departments. We look forward to how this new framework will promote the region and collaboration to provide better value and service to all residents, including through an upcoming intermunicipal collaboration committee that has been struck, and together that committee will champion the work. Outside of the ICF, as Reeve Beaupre mentioned, we worked out a funding arrangement to do the paving on 108th Street, which connects a city subdivision and a county subdivision, and that will be completed by the end of the year. The city continues to be proud of other relationships, including the relationship with Nighthawk and the funding agreements in place between the 3 municipalities to support this regional facility. It was great to see all 3 municipalities earlier this year come together to fund the new T-bar that is officially open. So thanks for the support, and thank you for everyone's commitment to that.
Excellent. Thank you, Mayor Clayton. Reeve, Olsen, Greenview represents a large region with a lot of communities. How have this intermunicipal collaboration played a role in servicing your area?
Strong partnerships between our municipalities are essential for us to provide the highest level of community service in the most cost-efficient way possible. As you have heard, all our councils share a commitment to work together on behalf of our residents. We realize that our residents' activities are not confined within specific municipal boundaries, which is why the successful agreements we have with our neighboring municipalities are so important. The construction of a joint Class B fire training facility with the County of Grande Prairie and the City of Grande Prairie is one example of how we're working together to benefit all of our residents. Fire services is one of the essential services that we share with our neighboring municipalities, and Greenview has recognized that this is an important part of a project to be a part of. We're also contributing to the youth emergency shelter for Sunrise House in the City of Grande Prairie. This new building, when it's built, will support approximately 300 individuals each year once it opens. This project really illustrates how important the collaboration between our municipalities is in supporting all of our residents, and especially the most vulnerable. Our council has also contributed funds to replace the T-bar, Nighthawk year-round adventure park, which was badly damaged in 2020. This will help regain the hill's capacity and enhance recreational opportunities for everyone in our region. Last year, Greenview had no access to water to fill our spray trucks for the rotational sprays of Grovedale, so the County of Grande Prairie stepped in to help us. This reaching across municipal borders allowed Greenview to complete necessary work in Grovedale in a timely manner and saved all of our taxpayers considerable fuel costs and travel. I want to thank the county for their help with this and the continuing efforts. These are only a few of the examples of how collaboration between our municipality benefits all of our communities and the entire region. Having great neighbors and working together as a region makes life better for everyone, and is a huge part of why this region is the best place to live and why we're all going to continue to thrive together.
Thank you, Reeve. Olsen. We've already heard the county mentioned a number of times in these collaborations, but Reeve Beaupre, I'm pretty sure you have more light to shed on these workings together.
Thank you. The county has a long history of his successful cooperation and cost sharing in the delivery of services across the region. And on July 1st, 2021, we had a historic event happen. We welcomed our newest hamlet, the hamlet of Hythe. We have 7 successful agreements with our neighboring municipalities, each tailored to the particular needs of those communities. Formal intermunicipal collaboration frameworks are in place with the MD of Greenview, Birch Hills County, Saddle Hills County, the towns of Beaver Lodge, Sexsmith, and Wembley, and most recently, the City of Grande Prairie. And as Mayor Clayton has said, it was a lot of work that was done by both past council and this council. And as well, I'd like to thank both of her council and her worship's participation in it. I think we've come out the other side of it, and we're much better for it as a region. Regarding the city and county framework, I must commend, as I just said, the elected officials, both past and present, but administration did play a very big role in what this. We make the decisions, they do all the hard work, of course, as everybody knows. They really worked hard to move this agreement forward and seeking the best outcomes possible for city and county residents. Together, we adopted a fair and equitable agreement for providing shared services to residents and ratepayers. The ICF of the City of Grande Prairie established a committee who will continue this work in the future, collecting key data to inform a future cost sharing and information sharing agreement beginning in 2025. And I'm happy to say that I think we have our first meeting next week already. So we're already starting to work for to set the bar for the next council that comes in. County was proud to continue to participate and collaborate on many regional projects such as the T-Bar at Nighthawk and the Beaver Lodge Fire Hall. And by harnessing the power of working together, intermunicipal partnerships help our communities thrive. And I really want to say that it's never been more evident than recently the need to do those partnerships, because money is, as we've seen in the past, doesn't flow north as much as it should. And to be able to take advantage of those opportunities, we need to show that we have a strong partnership and partners in the region.
Thank you very much for that, Reeve Beaupre. And I think everyone in this room realizes that this intermunicipal collaboration is very, very needed, and this is critical to provide a sustainable economy for our region. We're nearing the end. We're going to move on to our last topic, and that is community. And the biggest one in terms of land area belongs to Greenview, which I'm pretty sure keep our Reeve and his team very busy. What are some of the ways that you are reaching out to your residents?
So supporting community connections, social wellness, and finding new ways for residents to stay active became even more important with the pandemic, which I hate talking about now, but it's still a thing, and remained one of Greenview Council's priorities. We continue to support the programs and services our communities offer to residents, more than $4 million in annual grants to operate local recreation facilities, ski hills, museums, and community halls, as well as supporting competitive sports, seniors programs, and seniors access to transportation. Greenview is also exploring the opportunity to transform the old former pool area in Grande Recreation Center into a community event center. The proposed designs and costs are currently being reviewed, and if approved, the new space will hopefully open in 2023. One very creative initiative that is happening in Grande and DeBolt is a sign out and experience a day at the museum program. Through a partnership with the Philip J. Curry Dinosaur Museum, the libraries were gifted 2 membership cards each that provide daily entry to the museum for a family of 2 adults and up to 4 children. So instead of books or other resources, families can simply check out this card and go to the museum. It's a great incentive to explore the amazing things we have right in our own backyard, and definitely an incentive to check out all the things that our libraries have going on. Community wellness and ensuring our residents have access to the supports they need is top of mind for our council. The Meadows to Mountains Homelessness Prevention Project that was launched by our local FCSS in 2020 is helping some of our most vulnerable families. It provides counseling and support for families and individuals who are facing a housing crisis to develop a plan to prevent homelessness. To date, 32 families have been able to use this program and continue to have housing. Greenview is also joining the fight against domestic violence with several programs to promote healthy relationships and end partner abuse. Greenview FCSS was selected for the Wise Guys program to prevent adolescent dating violence, and Breakfast with the Guys encourages local men to be part of the solution to the end of violence. Public health and access to medical services is something we know is important to our residents. This is why Greenview provides annual grant funding each year to support STARS Air Ambulance. Council committed to a 5-year agreement to help with the purchase of a new helicopter, which should be arriving at the end of this May for Grande Prairie. Greenview residents have also asked to have more communication just from within the MD. So a new community newsletter is being created to help fill this gap. That include updates on the projects, programs, and any new initiatives within Greenview. Our first issue should be mailed out to all residents and businesses in May with the option to subscribe. We're hoping to do this quarterly and just a way to keep our residents up to date with everything we have going on.
Thank you, Reeve Olsen. The county continues to expand its services for its residents. Reeve Beaupre, please share the latest initiatives by your organization.
Thank you. I'll move through this fairly quickly. I see people are getting a little antsy. So local organizations are key to our community. Council distributed more than $7.5 million in recreation, community, culture, and library, seniors, and special need transportation and FCSS grants in 2021. Supports for family and individuals were more essential than ever during that bad word, pandemic, and we needed to shift and adapt to the way we provided services to our residents. We launched new programs, to support belonging, connection, and understanding across our communities. We concentrated on mental health, well-being through various initiatives, including a grade 4 pen pal program to bring cheer to our home support clients. An interactive exhibit at the Beaver Lodge Community Centre last month was a powerful exploration of the impacts and reach of opioid use. Visitors took an educational journey designed to reduce stigma and increase awareness to opioids, as they do not discriminate. Anyone can be affected by this crisis. The exhibit, titled Somebody, Someone, was a partnership with area municipalities and organizations that featured stories of local victims, their families, and their first responders to bring a powerful, important message to our community. We launched a program to connect residents to one another through weekly phone calls. This small gesture can have a very positive impact on the lives of those that may be feeling isolated or alone, and which can have certainly heightened and was heightened during the pandemic. We also saw and responded to the need for low-cost, accessible recreation opportunities for county residents and those throughout the region. In a pilot project this past winter, staff measured ice thickness for safe winter recreation at 2 designated stormwater ponds, complementing the many neighborhoods' ice surfaces in place across the county for some free, fun winter activities. Speaking of community safety, County Regional Enforcement Services collaborated with the Grande Prairie RCMP to host 2 virtual crime prevention town hall meetings. Residents were invited to tune in to learn more about the latest crime prevention statistics and strategies, the roles of different agencies, and to direct crime prevention questions to the experts. This type of community dialogue is just one of the ways our council has committed to creating safe communities, safe and well communities, one of the priorities outlined in the current strategic plan. If you were listening when I said what our priorities were, crime was one of them. Working with the Grande Prairie RCMP, the county intends to build a detachment in the hamlet of Claremont. We understand the importance of the RCMP to support safe communities. Currently, our budget funds 8 enhanced RCMP positions that work out of the community service building and the Grande Prairie detachment. 4 of these 8 RCMP positions funded by the county were given to the rural Grande Prairie RCMP units, areas of specialization, which include Crime Reduction Unit, the Crew, General Investigation Services section, the GIS, and the Special Investigation Unit. Council approved $50,000 in support of the Beaver Lodge Crime Watch to continue a crime prevention pilot using the Light Catch app. We recently were given an update on the activities of the Light Catch app, and it has been very successful, and we expect to see more in the future. We continually support the RCMP's effort on public communications about safe communities and crime prevention. The RCMP crime map is posted on our website, along with the Grande Prairie Detachment's monthly newsletters. Council approved rezoning approximately 160 acres of land near the hamlet of Heiss so that Horse Lake First Nation could develop a 10-bed group care facility, a first of its kind in Alberta. The Clear Hills Youth Treatment Centre is a distinctive healing and treatment program based on Indigenous traditions, ceremony, culture, and land-based teachings. We have several upcoming events, including a spring and home garden show at Evergreen Park, which kicks off today in the county of Grande Prairie, and we're the title sponsor, and members of our Firefighters Association will be on the roof all week long raising funds. Whoops, I missed one, sorry. I was just going to invite you all. I'm going to be out there from 4 to 7 tonight, so come by and see us. Again, our firefighters will be on the roof all week raising funds for muscular dystrophy. And we partnered with the city today to celebrate the Earth Day. After this event, please head over to Teresa Sargent Hall in the Multrose Cultural Center this afternoon. This weekend, we have gardening workshops and Bear Smart outdoor safety courses in May, just in time for our campgrounds opening on May 13th. Book your spots online today. They go fast. The popular Seniors Tea will be back at Evergreen Park during Seniors Week in June, and also in June we will host the grand opening of our Glass Fire Hall, and our annual open houses will be held at the Demet Hall, Webster Hall, and Philip J. Curry Dinosaur Museum.
Thank you, Reeve. Beaupre. And the largest community in population is the city, which obviously comes with its own advantages, I would imagine, but challenges. Can you please share more?
Absolutely. Thanks, Tertius. Community supports and safety remain a top priority. We are pleased with the improvements in our operations and will continue to make unique adaptations and innovations as we serve our community's needs. The Coordinated Care Campus, formerly known as the Stonebridge Hotel, is addressing chronic homelessness through supportive housing. This long-term housing solution co-locates tenants with service providers, healthcare supports, food, designated inclusive Indigenous and multicultural spaces, and recreation all on one site. Currently, public recruitment is underway for the Coordinated Care Campus Advisory Committee. This will in turn foster a stronger connection between the facility and the community. And if you're interested, please go to the City of Grande Prairie website for more information. Our mobile outreach team is one of the first in the countries to adopt this innovative approach to a diversion program focused on mitigating the impact of street-level social concerns from community-related to including needs for trespassing, support in loitering, public disturbances, intoxication, and needle debris. The MOP team also suppresses encampments by supporting and navigating impacted individuals with transportation and wraparound services. In 2021, they totaled 6,616 calls for service. 7,323 referrals were sent out, with 965 needles being collected. The city is excited to spend this spring and summer with fuller operations, enjoying all the region has to offer. As part of this, planning is underway for many great community events and greater access to many amenities. This past January, we were pleased to host our first inaugural Grand North Winterfest in partnership with the Grande Prairie Regional Tourism Association. If you had a chance to attend it, the weather was perfect. It was +10, and it was a joy to be able to be downtown throughout the core of the city. It was a walkable winter festival that showcased our city and provided programming for all ages. Then the plans are already underway for 2023 and this event, which encourages tourism while stimulating local businesses and organization. Council recently approved the 22 funding for our large-scale tourism grants, and we're looking forward to many memorable traditional community events of the past, as well as some new ones. You'll see returning this summer the East Coast Garden Party, a new one, Grand Con, and the Bear Creek Folk Fest in full operation. The opening of the new Activity and Reception Center in the Smith subdivision, including the indoor mobile skate park, has received a warm welcome to date, and its utilization in our community. The East Link Center, currently celebrating its 10th anniversary, will have year-long specials and continue to expand their programming to meet community demand and serve user groups. I encourage everyone to get out, explore the wonderful events and services that our region has to offer. As Reeve mentioned today at Montrose Cultural Center, International Earth Day activities are taking place from 2 to 8 p.m. And I also just wanted to mention somebody that I missed earlier. Thank you to Mayor Kate Potter for attending today. It's appreciated. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. And I'm also going to take that applause as an overall applause because we're running out of time. So thank you for that.